Hello viewers, this Not Too Fast here. Now several videos ago I did a full review of the Rove R2-4K Dual Dashcam. If you missed that video, I'll put a link in the video description below so you can check it out later. Now with the R2-4K Dual Dashcam, it does have parking mode function. But in order for you to use it, you do need to install Rove's Hardwire Kit. And in this video I'll show you what comes with the Hardwire Kit, how to install it, and set up the dashcam to do parking mode recording. And I'll also show you some sample parking mode recording from this dashcam. So if you're curious about how a dashcam hardwire kit works and how to install it, this video will explain everything. Let's get started. Right here is a Rove Ultimate hardwire kit. It's specifically designed for the Rove R2-4K Dual Dashcam that I reviewed several videos ago. Let me show you what comes with this hardwire kit. Inside this bag are some mounting clips, tie wrap, and a fuse puller. There's a digital voltmeter. Right here is the hardwire kit itself. Plastic pry tool. These are the various fuse tabs it comes with. Installation guide. Here's a look at everything you get with this hardwire kit. The yellow fuse tab is for ignition 12 volt, and the red fuse tab is for the constant 12 volt. For the installation, you only need one yellow and one red fuse tab. The reason there are multiple fuse tabs is because each of these have a different style of fuse. And depending on what's in your vehicle, find the corresponding fuse tab that'll fit your fuse box. Let me go over the 4 different style of fuse tabs this hardwire kit comes with. This first one here is the ATC fuse. This next one here is the low profile mini. This one here is the mini fuse. And this last one here is the Micro 2. So when you're installing this, take a look at the fuse box in your vehicle, find a fuse style that matches the one in the fuse box, and that's the fuse tab you want to use. I want to take a minute and explain to you how a fuse tab works. You see there's a top fuse slot and a bottom fuse slot. This top fuse slot is for your add-on accessory. In this case, I'll be connecting it to my dashcam, and currently there's a 5 amp fuse installed in the top fuse slot. With the bottom fuse slot, this is where you install the original fuse you took out from your car's fuse box. And on a fuse tab, there is an input side and an output side. Looking at this fuse tab right now with the output wire over here, the input voltage comes in on the left side, go through the fuse, and then go out on this accessory wire. If you install the bottom fuse, then the input voltage will go through this bottom fuse and come back out on the right side here. So when you're installing this fuse tab, you do need to use a multimeter and test the 2 legs of the fuse in the fuse box and find out which side has voltage coming in. So when you install this fuse tab, this side on the left need to be inserted into the input side. Often many people ask, what if you plug in this fuse tab backwards? Meaning the input voltage is coming in on this side instead of the other side. If you do that, then the accessory that you're connecting this to will have no fuse protection. Now the original fuse that's at the bottom slot will still have fuse protection, but not your accessory. Why? Is because if you have the input voltage coming in on this leg here, it'll come up, go straight to the wire, and then go out. The current will never pass through this top fuse. So it's very important that you install this properly. Right here is the hardwire kit. On the left side, these are the input wires. On the right side, this is the output wire. Now on this output wire, you have the USB-C connector here. So you need to run this wire all the way up to your dashcam and then plug this connector into the power in of your dashcam. Now the length of this cable is 9 feet 8 inch. On the input side, you have 3 wires here. The red wire is the constant 12 volt, the yellow wire is the ignition 12 volt, and the black wire is a chassis ground. With the red and yellow wire, you'll need to connect this to the fuse tab, and the fuse tab plugs into the fuse box. With a black ground wire, you need to locate a chassis ground bolt underneath the dash, and then connect this onto the bolt. The length of this wire is 3 feet. After you connect all 3 wires on the input side, this little box here will output power directly to the dashcam when the ignition is on, and the dashcam will record normal recording. When you turn off the ignition, this box will send a signal out to the dashcam letting it know the ignition is turned off and switch the dashcam into parking mode recording. This box also has a built-in voltage protection circuit. When it's in parking mode, it'll monitor the voltage of the car battery, and when it drops to a certain level, it'll cut off the output voltage to the dashcam to prevent the car battery from draining so low that you cannot start the vehicle. Now if you look on the sticker here, you'll see there are settings for 12 volt car battery system and 24 volt car battery system. This hardwire kit will work for both 12 volt and 24 volt vehicles. Now you can select which cutoff voltage you want. Looking on this side, you see there's a switch here. If it's in the far left position, the cutoff voltage is 11.8 volt. Next one is 12 volt. Next one over is 12.2 volt. And this last one on the right is 12.4 volts. You slide this to a different position. So if you leave this in the 12.4 volt setting, when you're in parking mode and the car battery drops to 12.4 volt, the output to the dashcam will be turned off. Now the lowest voltage is 11.8 volt. You don't want to go below that because anything below 11.8 volt, the vehicle will have a hard time starting. Over here is a parking mode switch. Now for the Rove dashcam, you want to leave it in the default position on the right. You can use this hardwire kit for other brands of dashcam, and if you do that, and you find the operation of the normal recording and parking mode recording is swapped, meaning when the dashcam is supposed to be doing normal recording, but you notice it's doing parking mode recording, then you switch the switch over to the other position. Now I'll take this to the vehicle and I'll show you how to install it. Right now you're looking at the driver's side dash of this Nissan Pathfinder. The fuse box is located right here. Remove this cover for the fuse panel. On the back of the fuse panel cover, you have this sticker telling you which fuse is for what circuit. On this Nissan Pathfinder, I'll be tapping ignition 12 volt on one of these power socket accessory fuse, and the constant 12 volt, I can get it from this electrical parts BAT2 fuse. Looking at the fuse box, right here, this 10 amp fuse is the constant 12 volt battery fuse. Now at the top here, you have three 20 amp fuses. All three of these are the ignition 12 volt power socket. So I can use any one of these three fuses for ignition 12 volt. Before we plug the fuse tap in, we do have to test it with a multimeter and find out which side of the fuse the power is coming in on. Here I'm going to remove one of the 20 amp fuse for the ignition 12 volt. With this hardwire kit, they did include this volt tester. So if you don't have a multimeter, this can be very handy to have. To use it is very simple. Connect the alligator clamp to a chassis ground. With this probe here, probe any of the fuse you're testing. So here you can see there's a digital display to show you the voltage reading. Now for the filming of this video, I'll go ahead and use my multimeter, which has a bigger display so you can see the voltage reading. Right here is my multimeter. I've set it to measure DC voltage. For the negative probe, I'm going to use a clamp and clamp this to the chassis ground. There's a metal bracket right underneath the fuse box. Now before I turn on the ignition, I'm going to probe both sides of that fuse slot and make sure there is no 12 volt coming out. Right now I'm probing the right side, is 0 volt. Now I'm going to probe the left side of the fuse slot and is 0 volt. Next I'll turn on the ignition. Now I'll probe the right side and you see it has 12 volt. So this tells me the power is coming in on the right side and then go through a fuse and go out on the left side. Next I'll pull the 10 amp fuse, which is a constant 12 volt fuse. I'll first test the left side of the fuse slot and it's 0 volt. Now I'll test the right side. And you see it's 12.38 volt. And also right now the ignition is turned off. So I have constant 12 volt coming in on the right side. It'll go through a fuse and go out on the left side. For this install, the fuse tab I'll be using is this mini style. And the red one is going to be constant 12 volt and yellow one is going to be for ignition 12 volt. With the fuse that you took out from the fuse box, install it into the bottom slot of the fuse tab. Now I'll plug in the fuse tab for the constant 12 volt. Next I'll plug in the fuse tab for the ignition 12 volt. Here's a look at the two fuse tabs installed. With a hardwire kit, I'll connect the yellow wire to the yellow fuse tab. Now I'll connect the red wire to the red fuse tab. The last connection I need to make is connect this black wire to the chassis bolts for my ground. Let me show you the two bolts behind the hood release. So right there are the two bolts. I'll connect the ground wire to one of the bolts. Now with the ground bolt, make sure you test it so you know it's a good ground. Not all metal bolts in your vehicle is grounded. Keep that in mind. So right now I've set my multimeter to test continuity, and the negative probe here is clamped to this car chassis metal bracket here. Next I'll take my positive probe and probe that ground bolt that I'll be using. And looking at the multimeter, it shows 1.3 ohm, which means there's a good ground. If you see a very high resistance measurement, something like 7, 8, or 10 ohms, then that ground might not be very good. I'll feed the ground wire behind the panel. And now the ground wire is connected. Next, bundle up the extra wire. Use a tie wrap to tie up this bundle. Now I'm going to tuck this box and the extra wire behind the panel. Next, I'll run the output wire behind the panel. We'll pull back on the weather stripping on the side. I'm going to route this wire behind the weather stripping. Run this output cable all the way to the top. On this A-pillar, I pull back on the weather stripping, and then I also popped off this panel. Now behind this panel, there is the side curtain airbag that runs along the side. What you need to do is run the USB-C power cable behind the side curtain airbag. And then tuck this cable behind the headliner and run it towards the middle of the car. After you tuck the cable behind the panel, now you can push this panel back in and then reinstall the weather stripping. When you install the hardwire kit, you don't need this cigarette lighter power cable anymore, so go ahead and remove this. Right here is a USB-C power cable from the hardwire kit. Go ahead and plug into the power input port on the Dashcam. After you install the hardwire kit, you need to go into the Dashcam setting and enable the parking mode function. Press the menu button.
Recording stopped. Video settings.
Scroll down to 24-hour auto parking mode. Press OK. Now by default right now it's off. This note tells you you have to install the hardwire kit in order to use this function. Scroll down and you have a choice for time-lapse recording at 1 frame per second and G-sensor. So this means when you turn off the ignition, the Dashcam will begin recording at 1 frame per second. Also, if there's an impact to the vehicle, it will record a short video. Next one down is motion detection and G-sensor. And with this, if there's any motion in front of the camera, it will record a short video. And also, if there's an impact to the vehicle, it will also record a short video. Next one down is collision detection only. So with this option, it will only record a video clip if the Dashcam detects an impact to the vehicle. Let's first test out the time-lapse recording. Select OK. Yes, turn on. Press OK.
Parking mode is on.
Press menu. Now scroll down. You also have a setting for parking mode G-sensor. Press OK. By default, set to medium sensitivity. So with the parking mode G-sensor setting, this will allow you to set how sensitive the Dashcam will detect impact to the vehicle. If you set to number 1, this low impact detection. If you set to 9, this high impact detection. So 9 is actually less sensitive than number 1. I'm going to leave this in the default setting. Press menu.
System settings. Video mode. Recording started.
Now turn off the ignition.
Recording stopped. Entering parking mode. Time-lapse recording started.
The screen will turn off and you will see the flashing red light here. That tells you this Dashcam is doing time-lapse recording at 1 frame per second right now. Now with the time-lapse recording, it will record both the front camera and the rear camera. Let me show you an example of this recording. Now let's try the motion detection mode.
Recording stopped.
Scroll down to motion detection and G-sensor. OK.
Parking mode is on. System setting. Video mode. Recording started.
And now the Dashcam is set up for motion detection parking recording. I'll turn off the ignition.
Recording stopped. Entering parking mode. Motion detection is on.
When the Dashcam is in standby mode and is not recording, the red LED is a solid red. When it detects motion, it will start recording and the red LED will start flashing. The video recording is 1 minute long and it will record both the front and rear camera, but the motion detection is only detected by the front camera itself. Let me show you an example of this recording. Go back into the parking mode setting. Now select collision detection only.
Parking mode is on. System settings. Video mode. Recording started.
Now turn off the ignition. Now the dash cam is in parking mode and is ready to detect any impact to the vehicle. Once there's an impact, it'll record a 1-minute video clip. I'll simulate an impact by hitting the A-pillar on my vehicle right now.
Video mode. Current loop video is now locked.
As you can see, the dash cam turned on. It tells you it's recording in parking mode and there's an impact detected. It'll record a 1-minute video clip and then shut down and go back into standby mode.
Video mode. Recording started. Current loop video is now locked.
Turn on the ignition.
Video mode. The parking mode got activated while you were away.
When you come back to your vehicle, you turn on the ignition. The dash cam will notify you there was an impact to the vehicle.
Recording started.
So those are the 3 different type of parking mode recording this dash cam can do. To view the recorded videos, you have 3 ways of doing that. One is to connect this to your computer by using a USB-C cable and plugging it into this port on the side here. This dash cam will show up as a drive and you can browse the folders and look at the recorded videos. Now if you're going to do that, make sure the dash cam is powered off. There is a power switch on the side here. Press and hold this to power it down and disconnect the cables here and then slide the dash cam off the mounts. The second method you can view the recorded videos is to play it back on the dash cam itself. Press and hold the menu button here.
Recording stopped. Playback mode.
Here you see the normal recording and the time-lapse recording. Next one over is the collision detection video recording. And this third one is the picture snapshot. Now with each folder, you have the front camera and the rear camera recording. To toggle it, press the menu button. Right now you're looking at the rear, normal recording. Press it again. Now you're looking at the collision recording. Use the up and down arrow key to navigate to the different video clips. Press OK to play back. Right now it's playing back the collision event recording. Now if you press menu, you have the option to delete the file or protect the file.
Playback settings. Playback mode.
And this is how you can play back the recorded video on the dashcam itself. The third method is to use a Rove app to connect to the dashcam, and then you can view and download the recorded videos from the dashcam to your phone. Now in my previous review video, I went into details on how to set this up, so if you want to learn more about it, check out the other video. So right now the app is connected to the dashcam. At the bottom I'll select dashcam video.
Recording stopped. Playback mode.
Right here you see front recordings and rear recordings. You have videos, events, and photos. At the top you can select the dates. And here's a list of all the recordings. Select it to play back. Now if you want to download it, select the download button at the bottom. Now it's downloading this video file to your phone. Now after you download it, if you want to watch the video again, select the local album at the bottom.
Video mode. Recording started.
Select the dashcam. So right now you're looking at the local album, which is on your phone. Select the video you want to watch. Select the file to play back. And now it's playing back the recorded video. And that's how you can view the recorded video off the dashcam. So if you have the Rove R2-4K Dual dashcam, or you're thinking about purchasing one, and you want to know how to install the Hardwire Kit for the parking mode, I hope you found this video to be helpful. Now if you're interested in getting this dashcam and the Hardwire Kit, I'll include the link in the video description below. If you have any questions or comments, leave one in the comments section. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. To support this channel, remember to click on thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified of new videos.